Do you want to have a better conference?
Yeah, I totally do. Most of my conference experiences are kind of haphazard and hit or miss. This would be really useful information. Tell me more.
This is Reid from ReidAboutSex.com.
This is Cathy from the IntimacyDojo.com.
And there are ways you can plan ahead to make your conference a really amazing experience.
Yeah, this also goes for those of you who are like, I don't go to conferences. Weekend retreats, seminars, festivals, things like that as well.
Yeah. So I like that you recommend people get things lined up ahead of time so they know that their partners, if they have partners or things, are all taken care of at home.
Yeah. Basically, if you're going to leave base camp, if you want to consider your home as base camp and climb the mountain of awesome conference-ness, make sure everything's set at base camp. Have a date night before you leave with your partners. If you're single, go have a Skype date or, hang out with your friends. Whatever you need to do to feel like everything's handled. And also, pack ideally the few days before so that you're not rushing out the door thinking that you forgot things. Prepping can get you a long way towards having a better conference. For those of you who are on a budget or, who are basically have dietary restrictions, prepping ahead of time what your food's going to be for the conference or the retreat and the festival. Thanks. Those things can be really useful because then you arrive at the conference and you have your food stuff handled.
Yeah. Even if you don't have that, I love having a couple of granola bars in my bag because sometimes you just get talking, you miss lunch, or the line is really long.
Yeah, or you stay up super late the night before, you wake up hungover, and kind of have to rush out the door to get to your first meeting of the day, so you end up skipping breakfast. Having little things like that prepared are super useful. I'm also a big fan, if you can, a lot of you are super busy, rest up before you go to the conference.
You're not going to sleep there.
Yeah, assume that you're going to have such a great time that you're going to stay up late geeking out and having lots of brain sex with people. So what can you do ahead of time to kind of take care of your body and, store up like a chipmunk ready for winter the fact that you're going to be completely sleep deprived, and if you're like me, kissing, a gazillion people so you just got germs all over you. What can you do to reboot and reinforce your immune system, take care of your mental and psychological health so that you can really have a great conference and enjoy yourself, which is kind of at least most of the point of going to conferences, I think.
I think it really helps too for sleep-wise, especially if you're sharing with a room with someone you may or may not have shared a room with before. Bring some earplugs and an eye mask so that if they're coming in and out of the room late as well, you can get the few hours sleep you can get. Mm-hmm.
If you're a really light sleeper, I would suggest buying a motorcycle helmet and wearing that and putting the visor down.
That's so helpful.
Yeah, and it'll scare the hell out of your roommates. Awesome.
Motorcycle helmet or not, drink lots of water. A lot of us we may be dehydrated from drinking. We're just tired. That when you drink a lot of water, it helps clean your system out and it gives you more energy. You actually will feel more awake.
Yeah, and you can start the rehydration a few days before you go to a conference. And this sounds really silly. I mean, all these tips. Trust us, we go to a lot of conferences. Anything that you can do to get that 10, 20, 40% more presence, more energy, better note-taking, you end up learning more and enjoying the experience more so that over the course of your lifetime, going to conferences, especially if you're educators that do this professionally, you don't start associating conferences with, oh my God, my life is hell. Yeah. Trust us on this. Super useful to do this. And my last tip for those of you who are super on a budget, and for those of you who fast well, it's a crazy tip, but it actually works really well. Do some sort of master cleanse. Start it 3 days before the conference and do it for the conference so that you don't have to spend any money on food and you don't get trapped having some weird lunch with somebody who's like, oh my God, we should have lunch together. And you're like, okay. And then you're like eating, being like, why am I here? I am trapped in lunch hell. No, you're like, I can't. I'm not eating this weekend because I'm fasting. And then if they're really awesome, you can go and hang out with them and have conversations with them while they eat. That's just a little super saver tip for my friends out there who get trapped in lunch hell.
Well, one thing I do occasionally too is I'll at breakfast I'll call and order room service, like a burger delivered, and have it in the room. Ask them to deliver it, even if I'm not in the room. Walk back to the room and there's a burger waiting in the room.
Yeah, that can save you time too, especially if you're at a big event where there's tons of people and then there's waiting lines everywhere at the restaurant.
I don't fast well, so that's a good solution for me.
Okay, I think that's good.
Yeah, let us know what your tips are, what's worked for you, or what problems you've run into.
What makes for a better con for you? And that's C-O-N, not C-H-A-N.